The look on Sarah's face when I handed her the eviction notice was better than any lottery win. 2 years ago, she told me I was settling and boring while she packed her bags to move in with her fitness-obsessed lover. She didn't know that I was actually settling into the role of her new landlord. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back to the day my life supposedly ended. My name is David. For 7 years, I was married to Sarah. I thought we had the perfect life. I worked as a real estate investment analyst, a job Sarah always called dry as toast. She worked in marketing, but her real passion was her lifestyle transformation. I supported her in everything. When she wanted to join the most expensive gym in the city, I paid the membership. When she said she needed one-on-one guidance with a personal trainer named Leo, I didn't blink. I trusted her. I was the guy who stayed late at the office to ensure our mortgage was paid. I thought I was building a future. Sarah thought I was just a paycheck. One Tuesday, I came home early to surprise her with flowers. I found her in the kitchen, but she wasn't alone. Leo was there, and they weren't exactly discussing grammar. Sarah didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. She told me right then and there, "David, you're a good provider, but Leo makes me feel alive. You're just stable, and stable is boring." Within a week, she had filed for divorce. Because of a prenuptial agreement I'd insisted on years prior, she walked away with a settlement, but lost our house. She moved into a luxury loft downtown with Leo. She blocked me on everything. Her last text said, "Don't bother looking for us. We're moving up in the world." The first 6 months were brutal. I was the boring ex-husband who'd been traded for a trainer. But here's the thing about being an analyst. I know how to play the long game. I didn't waste my money on revenge immediately. Instead, I took my share of the divorce settlement and did what I do best. I invested. I found a distressed property portfolio in the exact neighborhood where Sarah and Leo had moved. It was a boutique apartment complex called the View Heights. It was struggling due to poor management. I spent 18 months working with investors to acquire the building. I became the majority shareholder of the LLC that owned the complex. I knew Sarah lived there. I knew she was in Unit 4B, and I knew her lease was up for renewal in exactly 3 months. I started visiting the property for inspections. One afternoon, I saw them in the lobby. Sarah looked different. Her lifestyle transformation was showing cracks. Leo was carrying a gym bag and looking annoyed. They were arguing about the rent increase. "This place is getting too expensive, Leo," I heard her hiss. Leo snapped back, "You're the one who wanted the lifestyle, Sarah. Deal with it." They didn't see me. I was just a guy in a suit. But that moment confirmed everything. They were barely hanging on. Leo's business was failing, and Sarah's marketing job was paying for everything. As the owner, I had full access to the tenant files. Sarah's credit score had dipped significantly since the divorce. She'd been late on rent 3 times in the last year. Under the previous management, they'd let it slide because she was charming. Under my management, we followed the rules to the letter. I met with the property manager, Elena. I told her, "We need to tighten up our high-risk tenants. Anyone with more than 2 late payments in a rolling year is to be flagged for non-renewal."
2 weeks before their lease expired, the notice was delivered. Notice of non-renewal. No negotiation. Sarah went ballistic, posting about landlord greed, unaware she was talking about me. Finally, she demanded a meeting with the owner. She walked into the conference room, and I turned my chair around. The silence was deafening. Sarah's face went ghostly white. "David?" she whispered. "Hello, Sarah," I said. "The company has strict payment policies. 3 late checks make you a liability." "David, please," she stammered. "Leo's business is struggling. We have nowhere else to go. I'm not doing anything, Sarah, I replied. The numbers are, you told me stable is boring. Well, this is the future, and I prefer stable tenants. They moved out on the 31st into a tiny one-bedroom. Leo left her shortly after. He didn't find broken, unstable very attractive. As for me, the building is full, and I just bought another. Sarah wanted a life that was alive. She got it. A life that's constantly moving, just not how she planned. Sometimes the best revenge is simply waiting until the person who left you realizes they're living in a building you built while they were playing games. Karma doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just signs an eviction notice. If you enjoyed this justice, subscribe to Karma Unleashed. Tell me your story in the comments. And remember, the long game always wins.